So the first thing that I would always do is ask kids what it is that they're working on. I want to begin to uncover what it is that they're thinking, what they're trying, because the best conference is in the middle of the math work. It's typically after they've had a chance to get started, but before they're actually finished. So in the midst of their work, you need to figure out where in this stream are we? What kind of thinking have kids built? What kinds of understandings are they using? And what are they still working on? Because those are places where we might intervene to support kids in their thinking. It's also the opportunity to catch any misconceptions that might have surfaced in the process of starting a problem. We might find that kids are confusing hundreds and tens, or that they have formed unequal groups when solving a problem, or that they've confused area and perimeter, that there are all kinds of small misconceptions or errors that can creep into kids' work that we want to be able to see as it's going on rather than catching it at the end of the day when we're looking at papers. So first thing is to spend a great deal of time asking kids what they're working on, and then to attend to all of the details of that work and ask lots of follow-up questions about it. Kids will often give incomplete answers to questions. You ask, what are you working on? And they're going to tell you a very short piece of what they're working on. They're not going to tell you everything. So you listen to that piece and you ask a follow-up question. You ask where they started or what they did after that. You ask what that means or how it connects back to the story, what it represents or how it relates to what they've written on their paper. And we start to trace around the avenues that kids have explored when they're trying to solve the problem. And as we're doing that, what we're looking for is an opportunity. What's a place where we could grow student thinking? Is it in the representation? Is there a misconception? Are they confused about the strategy that they might be using? Or is it that this child understands a great deal about what they're doing, but their partner doesn't? And so how can we work across the collaboration to support both students in having understanding and working together to co-construct their understanding of the concepts that are involved? So what I'm doing in a conference, in an ideal conference, is to first map the terrain of what kids have been doing and then look for an avenue to push that thinking forward, and then ask an open-ended question that's sort of an invitation to kids to focus on a particular part of their work and to come up with something that they might do with that invitation. How might they make it their own? But I have to stay and listen, because sometimes I make an offer to kids and they don't take it up. They might, they might just look at you and say, I don't think I can do that. You say, is there a way that you could represent this? And they say, no. And if you've got it wrong, if you've pointed them down an avenue that they don't see how it could be productive for them, then that's a good clue that you need to try something else. So we need to ask the question, to issue the invitation, and then listen for how kids take it up and make it their own. And when they start to make it their own, when they generate ideas, then you know that this was a fruitful place for them. But if you hear that they're uncertain, or that they are a little frozen, or they're saying, no, this isn't right for me, then we need to look for another avenue. So you may have to go back to eliciting a little bit more to figure out where you may have misunderstood where they are. This is how conferring goes, and it's entirely responsive to where kids are. It's entirely responsive to what kids say to you, so you have to be in the moment with them and willing to follow their thinking wherever it takes you both.